Hey, this is Augie, Augie's Locker Room. When you come to the store, you're going to see things that you've probably never seen before unless you've been to a museum. Great items that go back to the Rockney era to the present. Website, augieslockerroom.com. Visit us here or the website.
Notre Dame's 45-14 victory here tonight at Stanford Stadium is indicative of the way the game went. Notre Dame dominated really from the very beginning, taking the 24-0 halftime lead. They finally gave up a touchdown. In fact, they gave up two, one with a very short field. But this was Notre Dame all night. Notre Dame 45-14. They've now outscored their last four opponents 162-23. And Brian Kelly came into the press conference afterwards, Tim, and declared his team one of the best four teams in the nation, as we would expect after his team easily raised their record to 11-1.
Well, he wisely tacked one on at the end too, because 45-14 was a lot more indicative of the score of what happened out there than it could have been at 38-14. And they are one of the 4 or 5 best teams. I don't think they're one of the 2 or 3, but that doesn't matter. You just got to get to number 4. They need a little bit of help. They almost got it today down south. Brian Kelly actually mentioned that he was the only one distracted on the football team because he was watching that game. It was on the big screen here at Stanford when Notre Dame was warming up. And Kelly had some choice comments for the last play call there defensively for Auburn in regulation, but on the field, Notre Dame's defense, 1 or 2 busts today. Other than that, total dominance of Stanford.
Yeah, a couple 10 or 11 yard runs. And Notre Dame didn't run the football very well. Brian Kelly talked about Stanford playing some double eagle, which took away the running game, but they certainly made up for it in the passing game. Jack Cohn continues to do what Jack Cohn does, and this was the best combination that we've seen of Kevin Austin and Braden Lenzy. Brian Kelly said that, maybe they put too much of the burden on Kevin Austin early in the year. They had to, and you understand in retrospect, you understand why they did, but he came out smoking. And Braden Lenzy, they combined for 10 receptions. That's the most that they've combined for this year.
And we touched on that a little bit at Irish Illustrated. Like, look, we're judging this guy. He's a senior. It's his second year playing football after basically a 2-year break. He's really coming into his own. Braden Lenzy should just, I guess, maybe either come back or play for Stanford because he's a great player here on the farm. These are his 2 best games of his career. They can trust him more now. And then, we haven't mentioned Michael Mayer yet, who set the tone today. 9 receptions, ties Tyler Eifert's single game record, 64-65 receptions. I don't know what he finished with today. Breaks Tyler Eifert's single season record. And then yardage and McAfee's touchdown record are within reach in the bowl game.
And then defensively, for the 3rd time in 4 games, Notre Dame gave up just 11 first downs. That's a total of just 50 first downs in the last 4 games. So the defense, we talked about during the week, we knew this team was dialed in.
Yeah.
They came out here and you think that, and we did watch, we were all in the press box watching the game on the scoreboards.
It's on the big screens. It was unique.
Right. And Notre Dame came out and was warming up, and Brian Kelly said his team didn't pay any attention, but he did. and had a problem with the lack of over-the-top coverage by Auburn on the deep throw to Alabama to tie the game. But what can you say? Other than the running game not being very good at times, and then the 3rd down conversions were bad until later in the second half. But, this is a team that has outscored its last 4 opponents 162-23. Understandably, the opponents that they have faced have not been top notch, but it's November. Brian Kelly wins in November. That's 17 straight after the calendar has turned to November 1st, including the regular season game against Syracuse in December last year. But they're playing great football. He admitted they can't control their own destiny now. All they can do is be the best. He actually joked that they were going to be playing BYU coming up this Thursday. That Jack Swarbrick was working on it, but that's not true, unfortunately.
Well, I think, you know what? They need help to get in. They probably are a team that deserves to need help to get in, right? I mean, they're playing their best ball now, but if it's an 11-game season,
I would agree.
They played 2 teams with a winning record. They went 1-1, but you look at them now, they are one of the 4 or 5 best teams. Unfortunately, one of them behind them also is too, I think, at Oklahoma State. So they probably need a loss there. You need a loss somewhere else, and that gets you in. And the thing is, if they get in now, I know they would be playing a juggernaut probably in Georgia, but they are really playing their best ball in Notre Dame. And defensively, I think they have a chance in this playoff. Whereas last year, the offenses they were facing made it hard for anyone to
Right.
win an upset over Alabama in that situation.
And you mentioned, I mean, maybe Baylor has the better chance against Oklahoma State.
They're better defensively than Oklahoma.
Right. So that'll help. But we'll, on Irish Illustrated, we'll try to get all that worked out before we.
It's hard not to talk about it this time when the head coach of Notre Dame does. So
no doubt about it.
Bring
And
it
he immediately, as soon as he came into the interview room, he immediately declared that they were one of the four best teams in the country. And certainly from his perspective, you can understand why. Again, not a great football team, but they did exactly what they had to do. And we knew they were going to come in here. Our scores we virtually predicted to score because Stanford was not going to be able to keep pace with Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's better, a lot better, and they showed it again tonight. That's it from Stanford Stadium. We appreciate you joining us. And somehow at some point tomorrow, we'll be getting back to South Bend.